Hey guys, it's Cerulean Jake bringing to you week 3 of the VGC Pals Draft League. And we haven't been off to a great start, but they say that third time's the charm. But then again, they weren't accounting for your week 3 opponent being Mollusk with the Sacramento Sliggoos with an insane team. Okay, calm down. I'm not feeling super confident into this team. As you can tell, it's kind of problematic for us. It has a lot of good stuff going for us, or for them, excuse me. And overall, it's just a very scary team. There's a Pokemon on there with Volcanion that I've just never dealt with before. I've also come to realize just how much of a pain in the ass Screamtail can be. There's just a lot going on, and I had to get creative to come up with anything to beat it. And even with it, I'm just not that confident. But even if we're not confident, that doesn't mean that we have the right to just accept defeat. I mean, we can if we wanted to, but what the hell are we even doing here if that's what we're going to do? So we are going to try our damnedest to win, and if we don't, then it is what it is. If we do win, then hey, that's awesome. So let's give it our best shot by starting out with our first Mon here. We have Swampert. Yes, we are bringing Swampert off the bench. So the Pert here is kind of set up really well to deal with his whole team. The major downside of Swampert is that it's kind of just been crept out into oblivion. Swampert is just not super well balanced. It has a great typing, it has a lot of really good moves that it learns, but its stat spread is definitely reminiscent of yesteryear, and it's kind of just missing out on a lot of kills. So that is the major downside with Swampert. But that doesn't change the fact that it matches up really well into his team, and I want to give it a shot. So that's why we're bringing it. We full invested into our attack stat because we want to get as much damage out of it as we possibly can. But I also wanted to hit a certain speed tier. That way there's some slower threats that we can outspeed. We should be speed creeping the Tyranitar with this. We're able to get past slow, Volcanion sets. Overall, I think this is a pretty decent speed tier for us, so that's what I went with. And it has a lot of good bulk invested into it. Overall, I think this covers us pretty well. If we need some damage, we have the Terra Water with Liquidation. And I specifically decided Liquidation to be our main attacking move, and you'll see why. Knockoff primarily is to, if we are in a situation where we just need to get rid of an item, or if we want to deal with that Gothitelle, then that's what it's there for. But one of the things I didn't specify before I went into this team is that I kind of went in with the idea of a 2-2-2. I wanted 3 pairings of 2 throughout the whole team. So who is Swampert's partner? Well, that would be Hitmontop. So Hitmontop, of course, has the Intimidate and Fake Out pressure that it is very well known for. Close combat is just its move that we're going to be using to get damage out there. But we also have Rain Dance and Coaching. So we know that they have the Tyranitar Excadrill to be able to Sand Rush, and that's just no bueno for us. That's a lot of damage that's coming out really fast. And while we're not going to be able to outspeed Excadrill even with the Sandstorm down, it's still just really annoying to have it up. I figured, why not turn it around and put it in our favor? If we go with a Rain Dance, then not only are we boosting up the Liquidation on top of the Terra Water, but we are also taking away their Sand. So overall, I think this is a really good option for us. Also, in a situation where we're just trying to make Swampert sweet, we have Coaching, because Swampert is already a really powerful, well, not really powerful, but a pretty decent attacker with some good bulk. So Coaching overall just comes off as a really good option for it and to really enable it. So that's our first pairing and what we're hoping to accomplish with that. One more thing I wanted to note about this is that Swampert is an actual speed stat of 99, whereas Hitmontop has a speed stat of 100. This is intentional with the way that I have EV'd them, because I want Rain Dance and Liquidation to come out in the same turn. Also, Coaching it's really nice to have Coaching go first. I noticed when I first had this, in testing, I had Swampert faster than Hitmontop. I had basically no speed investment in Hitmontop. And we ran into a situation where Swampert would attack, do not a ton of damage, and then the booster, Rain Dance or Coaching, either one, would come out later. We really want all that happening in one turn so we can really surprise our opponent. So I made sure that we are speed creeping the Swampert by 1 point. That way we can make it happen in our favor. Everything else is pretty much just dumped into bulk. And then I believe we also hit the very first benchmark with the Adamant Nature here, just to get as much points out of it as we could. Next up, our next pairing, I'm going to jump over to Primarina because that's the star of the show here. Primarina is going to be our Trick Room Sweeper. So I have high hopes for this thing. In testing, it actually turned out to be a lot better than I was expecting it to be. I was kind of thinking that this was our weakest pairing on the team, but in reality, it's actually pretty strong. Hyper Voice is a little less good than I was hoping it would be, but it does do some pretty good damage to a lot of things. Moonblast, of course, is going to hit like a truck. And then, of course, we have the Terra Blast with Terra Ground. That is going to put us at an advantage for Volcanion. Now, here's the thing. I could have gone the safe route. I could have gone Terra Electric into Volcanion. Because the thing is, if Volcanion comes in, it has Water Absorb and it's a Fire type. So Primarina just gets entirely walled if it were to come in. So I need Terra Blast in order to be able to kill it. Problem, though, if we go Terra Electric, a lot of Volcanions not only opt to run Earth Power, but also Terra Ground. So if it terrestrializes, it is going to blank. It's going to blank us again. And Water Absorb is going to stop our Hyper Voice, so it's not even weak to us. Sure, Moonblast is doing damage all of a sudden, but it just overall is a huge pain in the ass. I don't want to deal with it. So I have given us the Terra Ground, and we're just going to have to predict that it's not going to try to hit us with the Steam Eruption. That's the prayer here. Now, originally this was a Hyper Voice Throat Spray set with Protect, but I have ultimately decided to go with Assault Vest and Ice Beam because we were really struggling if Thunderous Therian decides to bring Grass Knot. It was just one-shotting us, not quite one-shotting us, but pretty damn close, and it's enough to just be a problem. So I decided to go the Assault Vest. We live it very beautifully. Ice Beam does a ton of damage, and we just back it up with a partner Pokemon, then it's dead. So that's the plan with Primarina here. We unfortunately get opened up to a lot of bad situations where we can't protect. But I mean, we're bulky, so we appreciate that. That's what we're going with the Primarina. Poltergeist here is entirely set up to support everyone, primarily the Primarina though. We of course have the Trick Room because we're trying to get Primarina to set up that Trick Room where Primarina just runs the show. Only Crabominable underspeeds the Primarina. But Poltergeist in general, it wasn't doing any damage with Foul Play on anything because it either is resisted or all the rest of them are special attackers. So we kind of end up in a situation where Curse is actually just the better option. If he ends up in an end game scenario where he only has, we don't have any ability to switch, and I have a really bulky Pokemon across from me that I'm trying to kill, but I just can't, then that's where Curse comes in. We're going to be able to finally kill that thing, no questions asked. So that's why we're using Curse as our primary damage move. We of course have the Life Dew and Hospitality to be able to heal people, and finally Rage Powder is just to redirect stuff away. We're just full support as it should be with Poltergeist. Eviolite of course to make us bulkier. And then next up we have the final pairing, of course the classic pairing, Dragonite and Chenpao. Now, here's the thing. Dragonite as you can see, has no extreme speed. What's up with that? Well, it's not that extreme speed is bad here. It actually is pretty good. But what I've noticed is that all of these other moves are just too precious to be able to give up that slot. So Scale Shot, of course, has been doing wonders. It has been very, very powerful, picking up 2 hits on a lot of different Pokemon. But if we go with Extreme Speed in our second slot, then Screamtail is just invulnerable. I kind of have to have this Terra Steel Iron Head to deal with that thing. And I mean, my life is just going to be a whole lot easier if it doesn't come. But if it does, then I need this. I just do. I also wanted the Tailwind because if we end up in a situation where it's not Sandstream, then I was kind of hoping we'd be able to outspeed some other threats by setting up a Tailwind. I have used it before. It has been nice. It was helpful in practice, that is. So hopefully it'll come up. If not, then hopefully we just didn't need it. And then Protect is just too valuable. I can't get rid of it for Extreme Speed, and I can't justify it. Chin-Pao, very, very normal set. We aren't Focus Sash because Chin-Pao just can't live in Sandstorm. If Focus Sash is broken, then it's just entirely useless, which is what Sandstorm will do. So we decided to just double down on the damage. We gave it enough speed that we outspeed everything except the stuff that we never had a shot in outspeeding anyway. I believe the only 2 Pokemon in the entire set that can outspeed Chin-Pao is the Photosynthesis boosted Screamtail or Sand Rushing Excadrill. This speed stat outspeeds everything else at max speed. Of course, there could be a Scarfer in there somewhere, but I mean, really, how do you prepare for that? So yeah, it's just a fairly normal set. We decided for the Throat Chop over the Sucker Punch. I was missing Sucker Punch when I was doing my practice, but ultimately Throat Chop is going to be really important for shutting down potential Perish songs, Perish traps. So that's kind of why it's here. Of course, the Life Orb just for damage, and then Terra Stellar, again, for damage if I'm trying to log up some kills. Primarily, we're looking to Terrasilize either Swampert or Primarina, but who knows? Maybe we get into the midst of it and something comes up. But, yeah, that's the team. And while I ultimately was not able to come up with a team that just I feel so confident in, and like 100%, I know I can beat this guy with this team. Like, I don't know, man. I know this guy kind of personally. Like, I met him, is what I should say. I have met him. I know he's a good player. I really respect this team. It has a lot going for it, and I just, man, I'm scared. But again, we have no right to be backing down. So I guess let's get into the match. Okay, here we are, ready for the match. Let's go ahead and get that challenge sent out. All right, we got Terra type and best of 3. Best of luck. Ooh, very, very concerned. All we can do is our best. Doesn't appear to be responding. Oh, yeah, he got it. So it looks like I got everything on his team right except for one. He didn't actually bring the interesting. He didn't bring the Thundurus, which makes a little bit of sense. So we're gonna put GLHF. And we're just gonna lead with Pert Top. Gonna hope that is the best option here. Hopefully that works out for us. And I'm a little scared of this little puffball here, so I think we're gonna go. I think I want to go Pow Knight to start off. We're going to leave Poltergeist Prim at home. We'll see what happens. Okay. Let's go ahead and check those Terra types. We're actually not Terra... We are not Terra Flying on T-Tar, which is interesting. We're Terra Fairy on both of the Pokemon whose Terras I was worried about. Stellar on the Excadrill. Volcanion Gothitelle. Looks like we're doing a potential Trick Room lead. Potentially. Now, I do want to look something up really quick. Hold a minute, please. Volcanion, do you get Grass Knot? You don't. Perfect. You're not Terra Grass, so, I mean, I'm just going to assume that you don't have it. That being the case, I suppose we just go ahead and we whip out that high horsepower, see what we can do. Then, of course, we go for a Fake Out. We are sometimes faster than the Gothitelle. We're not always faster, unfortunately. You're a Terra Ghost on the Gothitelle? Okay. So, I mean, you're threatening a point where you're not getting faked out. So let's just go ahead and fake out the Volcanion then. Ah, the Protect. Okay. So, it's going to be a Trick Room setup then. Oh, you're going for the Psychic. Okay. You deal 65, so unfortunately we don't live another unless we Terrasilize, but we're not going for that. So, it's fine. Instead, what we are going to go for is a Coaching. If we get a Coaching, he does Terrasilize pretty early. It's a Rocky Helmet. He misses the Will-O-Wisp, which is really cool for us. We actually lived that because of a damage roll. That's super nice for us. We really appreciate that. I think it's Terrestrial Water is just... Oh, no. I can't Terrasilize Water. You're a Water Absorb. Don't be stupid. How much damage did we do with that? We did 39. So we'll do a little bit more, but I don't think we secure a kill with just another... I think we need to whip out a Close Combat, and we would kill the Volcanion. Unfortunately, he did show that he has Protect, so we can't guarantee that that's going to come out. So instead, I think we just go for another Coaching. We may get burned, but we just have to choose to be okay with that. Because we can't really cover for everything. Yep, okay. So we get the Coaching. Here's the Trick Room. So we know that Volcanion should be slower, so the burn can easily come out. So what we could do, we are trapped. We cannot switch. So that's a little unfortunate, but that's fine. What we're simply going to do is we are going to go for the high horsepower again because you have not protected. We're probably going to get burned, but we're fine with it. Because, I mean, what other choice do we have? And I mean, if we can get a Coaching, then that'd be really cool, but I feel like you're just going to go for the kill here. Is there a better option that we have? Because we can't switch. Like, I could try to kill the Gothitelle, but I just feel like Volcanion is a bigger threat here. So yeah, I'll go for it. We eat the Psychic, take the Willow. Because of the burn, we only get good damage in. We don't actually secure the kill. That's really unfortunate. So I think what we're going to want to do here is we kind of want to stall as much as we can because we want to get the Trick Room out. What are we okay with? Because I feel like he just wants to click another Will-O-Wisp. Well, if we throw out the Chin Pow, then we're kind of just dead. Because he can very easily just click a fire move. So instead what we're going to do is we're going to bring out the Dragonite. We are going to go for a knockoff into the Gothitelle. Because it has been spamming Psychic and all that stuff for free. And we're going to click Protect to stall out with Dragonite. Stall out those Trick Room turns. Perfect Protect. Get some good damage with Knockoff. Get rid of the Citrus Berry. So we know Citrus and we know Rocky Helmet. Now, what we can do is... he didn't target the Swampert. He's probably going to target the Dragonite. So instead, what I want to do here is I want to go for another high horsepower into you, and we kind of just have to deal with whatever. You know, if we get burned, we get burned. That just is what it is. This is the part where extreme speed would have been good. What am I doing? He's Terra Fairy. I missed the high horsepower. That was going to happen eventually. We knew that. We're just going to make it seem like we were predicting a switch. That's what it was happening. I definitely wasn't considering a billion things and forgot that you were terastallized. So no, we're just gonna... We kind of have to keep going for the high horsepower. If you get encored, then that, you know, that sucks. But I think, fortunately, we're slower, so we get to choose what we're going to go into. And given that you have Screamtail and we are burned, we need to do as much damage as possible. So I think Dragonite is the Terastal option here. So let's go for a high horsepower. We're going to continue going for that. We're actually going to go... Let's go for Liquidation instead on Screamtail. Let's Terastallize Ironhead and hope that kills the Volcanion. The Steam Eruption is going to take the Swampert, unfortunately, and the Terastal Steel doesn't actually kill the Volcanion. At this point, he's sort of just gained too much momentum. He doesn't have Trick Room anymore, but this is just a really hard spot for us. He does show the D-Gleam, so he is kind of just wanting to attack right now. I really want to get rid of that Volcanion. His last... It's not going to be Excadrill. Excadrill would be a really weird pick, but it could be either Komodo or T-Tar. I'm kind of looking at Komodo as the most likely option. So, I mean, I don't hate Throat Chop into Screamtail because we are at our last two Pokemon. He could easily just go for the Perish Song, and we would hate that. I'm not sure that we have a choice because we're no longer under Trick Room. And we don't have the Tailwind set up. But I mean, you know, we go with what we go with. Double Protect is interesting. Just want to see what we were going for. I mean, you're stalling out a burn, which is good for you, I guess. Yep, there's the Perish Song. And unfortunately, we don't have enough time to just deal with this. We tried to get the Throat Chop out in time. So, I mean, we'll just keep smacking things. It's just, they're just going to click Protect, but... Tis what it is. Okay, so going into the next, we know that they're kind of favoring a Trick Room team here. So what I can very easily do is I could go my own Trick Room variant, and my Pokemon are slower than theirs. So I think that would be a good option for us. But yeah, I'm liking the... We go Poltergeist Prim for a Trick Room option. And I think we still go Pow Knight in the back, because Pow Knight felt a little stronger than Pert Hitmontop. I feel like he's kind of wanting to bring these Sandstorm mons now. That's just a feeling. It's not really based in anything. Let's run... Yeah, let's run what I said. Here's the Gothitelle. Here's the Komodo instead. Komodo is Terra Ghost. I know that this thing gets Iron Head, so that's a little unfortunate for us. I'm pretty sure it also gets Poison Jab. So it is threatening the Primarina. Let's see. So I could Terrastalize here. You didn't show Fake Out in the last battle. You went straight for Psychic. So I can go Terra Ground and we avoid getting hit with a Poison Jab or some stupid shit. We obviously want to go for the Moonblast. Probably switch into something, but that's fine. And then I kind of just want to go for the Trick Room here. He may go for Trick Room himself, trying to predict that and put an end to it. But if that happens, then that happens. I mean, we can't really stop that. Fake Out, that was a big possibility. Comes the Iron Defense. So your slowest option is 81 and we are at 80 speed right now. We are slower than you, so we are threatening some big damage here. And then for Gothitelle, I mean, honestly, what we may want to do, you did reveal Soundproof. You are not Overcoat, so you are not immune to our Rage Powder. We could just go Rage Powder. Sorry, had to confirm something for him. So now we definitely know that this guy is wanting to go... So he went for Trick Room to twist the dimensions back to normal. We know for a fact that he's going to want to Steam Eruption our Primarina because it would be super effective. We want to Terra Blast the Volcanion. And we want to pull away that attention. We know that you're Rocky Helmet, so you're not going to ignore this Rage Powder. Heat Wave was a good option. I did consider that, but, I mean, what was I going to do about it? Next, we can go into Dragonite, and Dragonite is going to threaten the Volcanion with an Iron Head, which will enable us to go for something more generic, something more along the lines of like a Hyper Voice. Well, no, we don't want to go Hyper Voice, because if he doesn't protect, then he is going to get Water Absorb and he's going to heal. So we don't want to do that, actually. Let's go for a Moonblast, threatening the Gothitelle. And we are going to Iron Head the Volcanion, because we don't want to give him the opportunity to Steam Eruption us. Here comes the Protect, I presume. Yep. Boink. We do some decent damage with Moonblast. We definitely appreciate that reasonable amount of damage. Now, I am a little afraid that I am going to get disabled here. So if we get disabled, then, I mean, we're kind of screwed because we'd lose a whole turn of using a move. So I think we have to go for Terra Blast instead. So I can hit the Scream Tail with the Terra Blast. We can continue to threaten the Volcanion. Let's take a little calc here. This and this. This is a pretty normal Volcanion set. Ironhead does you are Terra Steel, or not Steel, you're Terra Fairy, my friend. 48 to 56%, which means if you are invested into physical defense at all, I don't think you are because you're Will-O-Wisp. And you just don't need it. But if you are at all, then I can't guarantee the kill. So maybe instead of Terra Blasting the Scream Tail, we can Terra Blast the Volcanion to guarantee the kill. Or actually, we do know that you... Actually, it might not be faster than us. It has a minimum of 67. It might be slower. Have we seen that speed interaction yet? I don't think that we have. At least I don't remember it. I thought my Primarina was slower. Disabled. Steam Eruption comes out. We live it. Terra Blast comes out. Unfortunately, he lives that. So our next option, we have to switch Dragonite. Which means... Okay, so we have to switch both of our Pokemon, but we don't have two Pokemon in the back. Because we have to switch Primarina or else we die. We have to switch Dragonite or else we're stuck into struggle. I'm more concerned about the full health Dragonite than our almost dead Primarina. So I want to switch the Dragonite so we don't get Encored. Now, unfortunately, a Heat Wave is going to be devastating if that's what he throws at us. We just have to hope that he does not do that. So here comes the Moonblast into, Volcanion, and we're gonna switch out into Chien-Pao. Ouch, and Willow. Okay. We do get rid of Volcanion finally. Gothitelle Screamtail is all you've got left. If he kills one of us, then he can go straight for... Well, he can't do Perish because he's on his last two as well. And he is not soundproof. So what we need to do is we just need to break through these guys. How much did we take? We took 9.6% from a D-Gleam, which means we can take one more. We have not seen the specific interaction with Gothitelle just yet. I can go for a Hyper Voice here. It's finally safe to throw it out there. And then Throat Chop will still do some amazing damage through Gothitelle, but I kind of just want to protect here because we know that a Fake Out is coming. Probably into the Primarina. Oh no, into the Chien-Pao. Fair game. Get some good damage there. Eat a little bit of Burn Chip. And then we can click Hyper Voice again. It's not going to do anything because we're going to die to the D-Gleam. Chien-Pao is also, unfortunately, slower than the Screamtail. So he's also going to die to this. Yeah. We kind of just have to hope that Dragonite can clutch this out. We go straight for an Iron Head, try to get rid of that Screamtail, and then we try to kill with a Scale Shot is my method here. I feel like he knows that, though, and he has shown Protect on this Screamtail. Like, 100%, right? Screamtail fainted. No, not that turn. Screamtail used D-Gleam. Screamtail used Parasong. Screamtail protected. Yes, we do know that you have Protect. So weirdly enough, I'm going to make that call. I said last time that I need to make calls if I want to win rather than safely lose. So I'm making this call right here and right now. We need to Scale Shot the Gothitelle. Got it. Oh, it's not even going to kill, though. Man, that Gothitelle is bulky. But we did get some speed, which is really nice for us. Our multi-scale is broken. We can go for an Iron Head straight into the Screamtail. Encore is what would do us in here. He went for the D-Gleam instead. We get rid of the Screamtail. Psychic does 14%. I mean, we just got to pray here. We got it. Wow, that came down to the wire. We took one. We did take one, though. That is big for us. Whew. Okay, so what are we doing? I liked the Trick Room. But I think we can run Trick Room in the back. We can run Trick Room in the back with Pert, Hitmontop in front. This time leaving Dragonite and Chenpao at home. Because I feel like this time, he's wanting to run Sandstorm. Pert top. Volcanion, Screamtail. Interesting. Okay. It's really unfortunate because it's not what we were hoping to accomplish here. I feel like this is just going to be an auto Terra because he knows he takes the high horsepower much, much better if he terrestrializes. With that being the case, I kind of want to... See, here's the thing. I feel like he's going to try to burn us because he knows what our set is. So if we switch into Primarina, yeah, we'll get burned and that chip is going to suck. But at least our Swampert is still in full effect. I could also switch into Poltergeist. I can also Fake Out to make room for another Pokemon to come in. So yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go into Primarina and we're gonna Fake Out to make room for it. Fake out the Volcanion. Okay, Protect. D-Gleam comes out. Critical hit's a little annoying. And from here, it actually didn't terrestrialize, which is interesting. I kind of... Well, it didn't terrestrialize because it was going for Protect. But here's the thing. I think knowing that I've revealed Terra Ground, Terra Blast, I think he's going to call that, and he's going to terrestrialize. So if I go for Moon Blast, I'm actually dealing a lot more damage. I think that's the decision here. We go not Terra Blast, we go Moon Blast, and we go for Poltergeist. T-Tar. So this is going to hit the Dark type, which is really good. We definitely found our AV user. It's also Terra Fairy is the thing. We are going to go for a Hyper Voice with a Trick Room. Ooh, that's a lot of damage. Wow. No Trick Room kind of hurts Primarina's abilities here. But we did get rid of the Terra now. I'm pretty sure you can't disable a Pokemon more than once. I don't really play with disable very much, so I don't know that for a fact. We're going to bring in the Hitmontop. We get a good Intimidate on T-Tar, which is nice. We go for Hyper Voice. And because you are going to predict there being a Fake Out here, I'm going to go straight for the Rain Dance. Some good damage on Screamtail. Unfortunately, this has kind of enabled Volcanion a good bit. You have Terrastalize, though. Does he call my Terra? Hitmontop is faster than Primarina, at least. Okay. This could be an Encore, is the thing, and then our Terra is useless. So I think what we're going to go for... We're going to go for a Hyper Voice. Even though it's going to hit the Water Absorb. And we can switch into Pert. Protect comes out. You did read my Terra. So now I'm pretty sure Pert is faster than Volcanion, is the thing. So let's go for... this time I feel like I have to go Terra Blast. I mean, if I'm not Terrastalizing, because it'd be too risky, then I feel like I actually go for Ice Beam here. Let's hit the Screamtail with an Ice Beam. See what happens. And then we go for the high horsepower into Volcanion. This could be a burn. This would be really sad. I could actually go Protect on the Swampert. Have another turn where I can just be clicking Hyper Voice. Let's do that. Hyper Voice, Protect, block the incoming Willow. Nice. Disabled no more. That doesn't really matter much, though. We know you're on T-Tar Excadrill. Most likely. There's the Excadrill. We don't know anything about the Excadrill is the thing. It could very well be Clear Amulet. It probably is. But it might also be something else. So the Intimidate won't matter as much. I think I want to terrestrialize the Pert. Go into water so we're not taking as much from the Steam Eruption. If he does go for the Steam Eruption. And we're going to try to land a good high horsepower on this Volcanion. Try to get it taken care of. Oh, that's a lot of damage. Damn. Okay. T-Tar is AV. We know that for a fact. So that would be a very free fake out into the T-Tar. We are now locked out of our Terrastal is the thing. I feel like I want to Terra Blast the Volcanion. It's just neutral damage. We do our best. We fake out the Tyranitar that... Are we worried about the Tyranitar is the thing? It's realistically... I think it's only shown knockoff before it usually just dies, right? Or did it have Rock Slide? I don't remember seeing it. Steam Eruption. We live on 1, but we're going to take a chip. It doesn't matter, because we were going to take the chip anyway. Critical hit's really nice. I'm not sure it's enough, though. Because T-Tar's going to hit us. I think we're just barely out of gas. Ah, man. We are actually so close on this one. Is there anything we can do here? We are AV, so I think T-Tar is the appropriate target here. We get rid of Tyranitar. Maybe I should have... Yeah, maybe that was the goal. Maybe last turn, we fake out and kill the Tyranitar. It leaves Volcanion left. It's a 1v1. Yeah, maybe that was the play. That's the end. Ah, he's faster, yep. GG. That was much better than I expected to do. Okay, sorry for the abrupt little cut there. I had a little conversation with our opponent. This is one of the people that I have met personally and I feel a little more comfortable with. It's not just a random person that I have just met via this via this whole tournament. Yeah, I mean, that was a lot closer than I had expected it to be, and I'd love to talk about this match with him. So I think we're going to have a little post-game interview. So let's go ahead and jump into it. All right, so we are back with the post-game interview. Very new to me, but go ahead and feel free to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Mollusk.
Well, nice to hear from you, Mollusk. That was a nail biter. I gotta say.
Yes, it was. It definitely was.
Yeah, I was not expecting that to be anywhere near as close. I've been looking at your team for like 3 days now, and I've been disgusted with the amount of things that you can do with this team. I've been terrified.
Yeah, there's a lot of options.
Yeah, I was praying that some world that you just wouldn't bring Screamtail. But, I mean, I knew that it was a huge possibility it was going to happen, so I prepped for it as best as I could. Man, that was not... It was not a fun time.
Yeah, no, after the work that Screamtail put in last week's game, I was like, there's no way I can leave this off, so...
Yeah, what world, like... Is it a good idea to give the same Pokemon both Encore and Disable on a fast Pokemon that just eats hits for days?
It's such an insane mon. And I mean, it was doing damage too with Dazzling Gleam. I mean, it was against like a Chen Pao, but still.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, sure, like at the end of the day, it's just chip damage, but like this is VGC. Chip damage matters.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
But I mean, taking a look at your team here, Volcanion was another one that was just so hard to prep around. I did clock after watching your games. I did clock that you like using the Will-O-Wisp, and I was a little scared of that because a lot of my team is physical. But I mean, I was like, what am I gonna do about that? Like, it just has to happen.
That's exactly why I kept with the Will-O-Wisp. You know, you've got the Pow Knight stuff. I was like 50-50 on whether you'd go physical or special Swampert. I was fairly certain you would bring Swampert, but obviously it being physical also, that worked out for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was really hoping that you weren't gonna see the Swampert, because a lot of people look over it and it's like, I mean, that Pokemon's old and he just doesn't do anything. Like, he's bad. I was like, please do not see that it matches up into his team perfectly.
See, yeah, no, I was like, with the sand mode, I was like, all right, Swampert probably makes an appearance, and I'm a bit biased because I love Swampert. I used it with like a support set with like Wide Guard back in the day, so it's a really cool mon.
Yeah, there was just given the set that you went, since you went Terra Fairy on the Volcanion, my initial impulse was actually correct, and I should have gone with it. I was originally going to be Terra Electric on the Primarina, because you just hard wall the Primarina. Yeah. So I had to have something. So I was going to go Terra Electric, and then I looked up what all the other generic Volcanion sets like doing. Terra Ground Earth Power. I'm like, okay. There's no winning.
You know, I thought about it, but I was like, it doesn't really do, like, Earth Power doesn't really do anything, like, unless you Terra, for the most part. Like, the only thing I would be hitting was, like, the Ceruledge, but I was pretty confident the Ceruledge wasn't coming just because it had a really bad time into the Sand matchup. But Terra Electric, that's very interesting. I had a feeling you were Assault Vest, but it's good to confirm that, I guess.
Well, until about, like, 2 hours ago, it was actually Throat Spray with Protect. And so this is the team that I expected you to bring over here. And Thundurus was disgusting.
I almost brought the Thundurus, but then I was like, I feel kind of bad because I did finally break out the Perish Trap mode against you.
Well, I mean,
and I was like,
I complained about it, so I knew what was coming.
Yeah, no, but I was very close to bringing the Thundurus, but then I was like, Soundproof Komo is kind of awesome paired with the Perish Trap. Also, one mistake, I meant to change my Komo to Terra Fire, and I forgot to do that.
What we got here? Oh yeah, the Terra Ghost, that's right.
So I started with Terra Ghost for like extreme speed stuff and like fake out with Hitmontop.
I gotcha.
I intended to go Terra Fire to wall Primarina with which I guess if you're Terra Ground, Terra Blast, that wouldn't have worked, but
right.
I have this Moonblast and block Hyper Voice. I was like, that sounds really fun.
I had a buddy of mine, and we were practicing this matchup, because if I didn't practice, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, this would have been a 2-0. It would not have been close. I had to practice for this to be any close at all. And this is a guy that had not even looked at your team until 5 minutes before we started practicing. And it was stupid, the matches that we were having. It's just so hard to deal with. But the Grass Knot on the Thundurus was just impossible for me to deal with. I had to go AV with Ice Beam.
Okay. That would have been good. I did not have Terra. I guess I should have considered Terra Ground with all of my ground weaknesses, but that honestly was not on my radar.
I mean, I'm glad I was able to catch it with something, but I mean, it obviously wasn't enough. Yeah, it's just this Screamtail set. I don't know what to do about it. I did the I mean, you saw what I did there in the game 2. The Terra Steel Dragonite was like basically my dedicated out to it. And I was kind of hoping, like, the idea behind not bringing it game 3 was, okay, I've shown that I can beat it. Maybe he doesn't bring it game 3. Maybe because I know he wants to go the sand mode. You know, if you don't bring sand mode for 2 games in a row, and we get to game 3, like, you're bringing sand.
Right. Yeah.
So maybe he doesn't bring it. Maybe I don't need the Iron Head, and my other 2 options, which really deal well with sand mode, that'll be enough. But unfortunately, he did bring it, and that was in the ass to deal with.
See, I was fully expecting like extreme speed or something there. So knowing you have Tailwind,
So
very interesting.
in the team builder, I did comment on this that I knew that I was going to end up missing extreme speed, not having it. But I also know that a majority of people see POW Knight and are like, oh, extreme speed. Let's prep for that. So it's like, okay, in the moment, I may miss it, but if I had it, then he's going to be prepped for it, and I'm going to hate my life. So let me go something else that's going to be useful. And in practice, Tailwind did come up, and it didn't really come up here because they didn't have the room to use it. But it was pretty nice because it allows me to strike this like middle ground speed tier with Swampert, where he can be slower than some of your stuff. So if Trick Room is up, then we're going first, or I can speed it up.
Yeah, I was not expecting the Swampert to be as fast as it was. Like when I didn't have like much speed investment like on Volcanion, but just it outspeeding, I was like, oh wow, okay.
Yeah, that was the major important one that I wanted to outspeed. And I mean the Terra Fairy kind of made it hard to deal with because I'm just hitting like a neutral power, high horsepower.
Well, I with the Dragonite, with the like dark attacks from Chen Pao, the Hitmontop, I was like, I definitely knew I wanted to go Terra Fairy, and I ended up going Terra Fairy on the Tyranitar also, just for just like general survivability. But yeah, no, that was fast Swampert was really cool though.
Yeah, there was a very specific tech that I played out. So I noticed that I was at 99 speed, and I wanted my Rain Dance tech to work out, so I put it at 100 on Hitmontop. Okay. So I would be just fast enough to get the Rain Dance up, and then be able to slam you with a rain boosted liquidation. But
I was
never ended up in that situation.
I thought you might end up bringing some kind of weather move, but I honestly, I don't even know if I knew that Hitmontop got Rain Dance, which I guess it makes sense. It dances, but that was also a really cool tech.
There's a lot of Pokemon that just get both Rain Dance and Sunny Day, because I think, yeah, he gets Sunny Day too. But yeah, it's man, I had a lot of fun stuff going on here, and I was so close, man. I think in our last little interaction here, I was potentially I had a better win con than what I went for. If I would have doubled into the T-Tar, would have still lost the I would have still lost the Hitmontop, obviously. But maybe because I'm AV, maybe I can win the 1v1 with the Volcanion. We're kind of flipping a coin there at that point, though.
Yeah, I think you're right, though. I think you definitely would have had a better chance, but honestly, you might have been able to, because I did not have very much investment on my Volcanion, I don't believe.
I also, in that game 3, I was really thinking that you were going to, my read was that you were going to Steam Eruption my Swampert since it's neutral damage. So I wanted to turn that into resisted. Really did not work out for me. And I lost my Terra, and I'm like, that might be the game right there. Very sad moment. But Man, I think at least in the way of content goes, that felt like that was a very very good matchup. That's gonna be very intense and good to watch.
Oh yeah, no, I was for sure stressing. If you hear, I'm sorry, I don't know if you can hear my dog, but my dog is like gremlining hard right now.
No, it's not coming. It's not coming through too much.
Okay, cool. But yeah, no, I was so stressed through that whole game down to the literally the last turn, and I wasn't 100% sure if my Tyranitar would be faster than your Primarina.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
I definitely got to bust out the good music for this one. The champion Kieran for our final match.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it deserves the best. But man, 0-3. That's ugh. It's so hard. So many good players.
Yeah, no, it happens. This is your first draft league, right?
Yes, yes, it is.
Yeah. It's definitely an adjustment, just because like you have like in draft, there's so many like weird specific techs you can break out, and it's so hard to be prepared for all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been a rough league so far. I've been at least, I guess I could say, satisfied with my performance, because I do feel like for the most part, whether I blunder something and that was totally winnable if I just did this, ultimately I am able to walk away with I kept it to a close match. I haven't been 2-0'd yet. I'm able to walk away with like some level of pride in my performance of like I am doing good and I'm improving. And
no, yeah, absolutely. That like you had me up against a wall there. Like that would have been that game 3 was like a total 50-50. Like it really could have gone either way, and you should be proud of your play.
Well, I mean, I'm sure I don't need to say this, but to you much the same, Mr. Is it 3-0? I'm pretty sure.
Yes, I guess so.
That's gonna put you pretty far up there. You expecting? I believe in the last league you were a finalist, yeah.
Yeah, I lost to Pizza Guy in finals.
My round 1 opponent. I'm just saying, this has been some absolute bullshit of who I've had to face.
It's been a gauntlet for you for sure.
Yeah. But I'm just messing around. Like, you're expecting another finals run?
It would be nice. I would really like to redeem myself in finals for sure.
Well, I'll tell you this. I think you got the team for it. I've never played against Volcanion up until this point. I didn't really know what it did, but once I started prepping for it, I'm like, I see why it's high points. It's really hard to deal with.
Honestly, I've never really used it either. But once I found out we were playing with Mythicals, I was just kind of like looking through them all, and I was like, this has a lot of really cool stuff. And then I was just like, the water absorb, it would pair really well with sand, and luckily I was able to get pretty much the exact team I was hoping for.
Thankfully, I don't know if you were going for it or not, but thankfully Grizz took away the Garchomp.
Actually was not. The only mon that I actually got like sniped on was Glastrier. I was hoping for Glastrier as like a Trick Room sweeper.
Gotcha.
And I settled for the crab instead.
Yeah, I would have been rather upset from my perspective, whether you were going for it or not. I would have been rather upset if you got both sand sweepers that you could just take. You don't even need to take both. Just take one to any given week. Yeah, I would have been not a happy camper. But yeah, that was a good match. Do you have any like socials that you want to shout out before we wrap this up?
I mean, you can find me on Twitter, Discord, whatever, at Mollusk VGC. I've got a YouTube and Twitch that I almost never post or stream on, but hoping to eventually some point, maybe with Champions, when Champions comes out, get back into streaming and stuff. But yeah, Mollusk VGC.
All right. Well, thank you for the interview.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And I will see all of you next time when we face off against the San Diego Superiors. So, see you then. One little quick correction before we end the video here. I said that we would be going against the San Diego Superiors. That is actually not true. I misremembered who was the coach of what team. I saw that I was against Pocket Legacy on the schedule, and I went off of memory thinking that that was the San Diego Superiors. It is not. We are actually against the Niagara Love Discs. So, next week, we face the Niagara Love Discs. See you then.